Another protest has erupted in the city of Christchurch today, which was accompanied by at least 50,000 citizens. People have demanded that the South Island is to gain independence from the North Island as it is becoming too politically divided. Some have been calling with the official resignation of all South Island politicians in Parliament and demand that a new Parliament be set up within the South Island as a new country. Both the District of Council for Otago and Canterbury are in full support of the protest. The Prime Minister has let the protests go on as long as they are not causing any major disruption. As of now, most protests seem peaceful.
This is the New Zealand Police. What is your emergency?
They've gone crazy. People have got guns and they're shooting each other. Send help, please.
Who's got guns?
The protesters. They started getting guns and now they're killing us.
All right, remain calm. Where are you, sir? What is your location?
I'm in Sydenham, Christchurch. I'm hiding behind a car.
All right, sir. Don't panic. We're sending units on the way. Please may we have your attention. This is a public broadcast that has been issued by the New Zealand government. The region of Canterbury has been placed into a level 4 lockdown as protests have begun turning hostile. It is estimated as of right now that at least 12 people have been killed and at least 100 injured. It is highly recommended not to take part in these protests and riots as you may risk being hurt, injured, or arrested by the New Zealand police. It is strongly encouraged to stay away from all urban or populated areas within Canterbury such as Christchurch, Kaikoura, Ashburton, and Timaru. The lockdown will have the same effects as it did during the 2020 lockdowns. The New Zealand Defence Force will shortly move into the region to maintain control and to ensure that the riots do not get out of hand. If the riots are still happening once the Defence Force is present, things will escalate quickly. In that event, remain indoors and do not go outside at any means.
Chaos has erupted within multiple cities in the South Island today as rioting reaches a peak. Some officials say that this is the most violent series of days that the country has seen as more than 20 are dead. Hundreds are injured, and most cities have been placed into a state of emergency as the New Zealand Defence Force is moving in to maintain control. Such ministers of parliament like the Minister of Otago and the Minister of Canterbury are in support of the riots and are being denounced by the New Zealand government. At least 50,000 protesters have come onto the streets, demanding independence from the North Island, which are being led by parties such as South Island First. The Prime Minister still stays firm that such a move will not happen. However, with the growing rise of violence within the South Island and some North Island cities as well, the pressure is mounting.
This is not a test. May we have your attention, please? If you have received this broadcast within your area, it is ordered directly by the New Zealand government as for you not to go outside at any means. A full-scale lockdown for the entire Wellington region has now been taken into effect. This means that it is required by the law for you not to step outside at any means and to stay as far away from any urban areas at all costs. Over 18,000 protesters have stormed Wellington Central and most notably, around the New Zealand Parliament buildings such as the Beehive. The New Zealand Defence Force as well as civil defence have been ordered to enter the area and to maintain control. For the sake of your own safety and others, do not participate in the riot, as it is likely that you will get yourself and other people hurt. Soldiers will be ordered to fire upon citizens if they feel that human lives and their own lives are at risk. The Prime Minister has already been evacuated, as well as most other ministers of Parliament, thanks to the ongoing violence happening outside. The New Zealand police have attempted to block protesters from entering the Parliament building, but it is clear that their attempts have failed, as protesters are now within the Parliament. There are reports that some rioters possess dangerous weapons such as guns and knives. Whether these claims are true or not, it is mandatory not to go anywhere near the New Zealand Parliament grounds. The New Zealand Defence Force have set up a 10-kilometre perimeter around the area and have evacuated all normal civilians from the area until the rioting has subsided. If you haven't left the radius, you only have 20 minutes to do so before the military arrive and arrest for you assisting a domestic terrorism event. It is possible that the Defence Force will be accompanied by some members from the Australian Armed Forces. In that event, mass arrests will be made, as well as even some deadly force if the rioting still continues. We apologise for the inconvenience, however, the area will be in a full lockdown for the next 24 hours until the riots have subsided. Each resident who has stayed within their homes will be compensated at least $5,000 for their contribution to maintain order. This has been an announcement by the New Zealand Civil Defence Force. Whakawhātai koe.
This is a nationwide broadcast. May we have your attention? A new government has been formed within the South Island, as South Island First is the leading party for the South Island's new government. What this means is that the South Island is no longer an official part of New Zealand, nor is it New Zealand territory. It is now an independent country. Some facts that people should know. You are still able to travel to and from the South Island, however, it will be heavily militarized. The South Island isn't fully independent yet, but it is still officially declared as independent, so this announcement is only playing towards citizens of the North Island. There will be a new flag for the South Island made shortly and displayed as its official flag. As well as that, the new capital for the South Island will be Christchurch as leading official for the South Island First. David Keyes claimed that the capital will be specially selected as Christchurch because that is where the first freedom protests took place. As well as that, it is the biggest city within the South Island. All residents within the South Island will have 2 weeks to make the choice as to if they want to be a New Zealand citizen or a South Island citizen. Countries such as Australia, South Africa, and China will be funding money towards the South Island in order to boost its economy and increase money within the regions. It is currently debated whether or not the inter-islander ferries which transport people between the Cook Strait will be cancelled, however. As of right now, the South Island of New Zealand has seceded from the North Island and will be going under a debated new name known as Rangatiratanga, which means freedom or independence in Maori. Thank you for listening to this announcement. God bless New Zealand.